Hello everyone, this tutorial is to show you how to do a scratch animation in the style of Dutch abstract artist Piet Mondrian. Mondrian's most famous painting features primary coloured rectangular blocks and thick horizontal and vertical black lines. His early works featured some real objects like this church. He later refined his style to become much more abstract. We're going to do an animation in the style of one of Mondrian's most famous paintings. This is an example of the kind of work I would like you to do. I'm using various scratch commands to move the pencil around the screen, drawing as it goes. It doesn't have to be an exact copy of one of Mondrian's works, however I would like it to be in this style. Once again, I'm going to be using the Scratch website online, although you will be able to do this on the app if you have that instead. Very similar. I don't need this tutorial, I'll delete that. And I don't need the cat, I'll delete that. What I do need to do is enable the pen group of functions. They're not here at the moment. I need to click on this button in the bottom left and enable the pen extension. That will allow me all the blocks that I need to draw on the screen. First step for me is going to be to get a sprite to actually draw. I will pick the pencil from here. So search for the pencil, I'll select that. I'd like to make it a little bit smaller, so I'll change the size to 50% so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to also edit this costume. Just to select all of the pencil, I'm going to drag it up here. That little crosshair is the center of the costume, and that is where it draws from. The Scratch background has 500 steps across its x-axis, from -250 to +250, with 0 being in the middle. Similarly, the y-axis has 400 steps going from top to bottom, 0 being in the middle, 200 at the top, and -200 at the bottom. So to get the pencil to draw the horizontal black lines across the screen, I'm first going to clear anything that might happen to be on the screen at first and say pen up, which means stop drawing. When I move the pencil at the moment, I don't want it to draw. So I would like it to draw from the left to the right. So I need to get it in position first. So I am going to glide across to the left-hand side of the screen. So the left-hand side of the screen is -250 on the x-axis, and I'm going to pick around here, which I think is going to be about 100 on the y-axis. I would then like to set the pen up in the colour that I would like, which will be black, and the thickness, I'm going to pick 20. Finally, to get it to draw, I am going to use the glide command again. This time it is going to be right across the other side of the screen, which is +250, and it needs to be on the same y-axis, otherwise it will not give you a horizontal line, it will be diagonal. Let's just give this a whirl and see if it works. Okay, it didn't, and the reason is because I didn't put the pen down. I didn't tell it to begin drawing. So I need to do that after I have got all the settings in place. Now perhaps that line is a little thick. If it is, there's some trial and error involved here, so I'll just make it a little bit thinner. Lines, I'm going to do something similar for the vertical lines. I'll start by picking the pen up so it doesn't draw while I get it into position. And I am going to glide to the top of the screen now. So if you remember the top of the screen, we need to be thinking about the y-axis. The very top is 200. And I can draw anywhere across the x-axis, but I'll go for minus 150. And then I need to put the pen down to make it start drawing. I'm not changing the colour or the thickness. I'll keep it as it was. And then I'm going to glide to the bottom of the screen, which is minus 200 for the y-axis. The x will need to be the same, so I get a perfect vertical line. Let's test that out. Do the coloured boxes. There's more than one way of doing this, like there is with all things in programming, and this is my preferred way, although you might prefer just to draw several lines. I'm going to talk you through each of these blocks and describe how it works. So the first thing to do is to set the pen colour, fairly obvious. These lines are going to be fairly thick, so I'm going to set the pen size to 20. I'm going to create a variable which is going to hold the Y position of each horizontal line that I draw. So to do that, we'll click on variables and make a new one. The first glide command gets you into position at minus 250, and then whatever we set the Y variable to. I've not quite got it at the top of the screen, so it's at 170. Then put the pen down. And then I have a repeat command which will repeat these three commands inside the repeat loop. It will repeat them 4 times. So the first glide is to get me to the end of the line. I'm then going to draw another line, but at 20 steps down. So I have to reduce Y by 20. So I change it by minus 20. And then I'm going to glide back to the beginning again. So that is the end of this tutorial. I hope you found it useful. It'd be great to see some of your work shared on class charts. You can do that by sending in a screenshot of your code, including the outcome of it. Alternatively, it'd be really good to see a few screen recordings as well.